There are no snakes in my back garden, but I wonder what might be there. You may not think of your back or front gardens as being the ideal place to look for wildlife, but believe me, the smallest of gardens in suburban housing estates can be havens for wildlife and can be made even more so with a little help from us. A good starting point and the easiest way to begin to attract wildlife is to add a bird feeder or two, which can be attached to an outbuilding such as a shed or a tree if you have one. But remember, our garden birds don't like open spaces due to the possibility of predation, so set up your feeders close to some form of shelter, a tree or a hedge. If you don't have a tree, maybe you might consider planting one. Or if you feel a tree is too big for your garden, how about some shrubs and plants which will also attract some smaller creatures such as butterflies? Nest boxes and bird baths are two other possibilities, or you might even consider building a small garden pond to attract more aquatic wildlife such as frogs, or if you're extremely lucky, you might even attract Ireland's only newt. However you decide to lay out your garden, once you supply food and water, birds will come. What species of birds can I expect to attract, you might ask? Well, every year for a 13-week period during winter, Birdwatch Ireland organise a garden bird survey, which begins at the end of November and goes on until February, in which people from all over the country take part by filling out a form listing the species which visit their gardens each day, whether they feed or not. And when the end comes, the results are studied and compared to the previous year to give an accurate picture of exactly what species we can expect to see in our gardens. Although I don't take part in the survey every year, I have participated several times and always found the results really interesting. And if you look back over the years, I think you'll find that the top 10 birds vary very little. Although they may swap places, moving up or down the list one or two, you'll find that even if they drop out of the top 10 altogether, they will more than likely reappear the following year. I'm often asked by amateur photographers what they should do to get started in wildlife photography. And my first suggestion is always the same: start in your own back garden. As a photographer, you'll obviously want to attract wildlife for different reasons to someone who just wants the pleasure of watching them. But nonetheless, you should still set up your space in much the same way as I've already outlined here, with possibly one or two minor tweaks. I won't go into too much detail about that here because I'm planning an episode specifically aimed at budding photographers for some time in the future. In fact, if I can work it out properly, it might even become a series for aspiring wildlife photographers, so keep your eyes peeled over the coming months. Hopefully, I'll have something more positive to announce then. On that note, I'll leave you today with a short slideshow of some of the most popular birds you're likely to find in your garden: blue tit, coal tit and great tit, chaffinch and goldfinch, and more often than not, coming in at number one, everyone's favourite, the robin. Thanks again for watching Wildlife Wednesday, folks. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and if you did, I'd be grateful if you'd give it a like and subscribe to my channel. When you do, don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Till next week, stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands and continue to maintain social distancing. We're not out of the woods yet. Take care, folks. Bye.